The fence installer showed up to give an estimate and immediately knew something was off. The yard had no grass, just dirt and dozens of small holes everywhere, like someone had been digging randomly. The homeowner was a veteran in his late 50s who explained he needed a privacy fence because his neighbors kept complaining about the yard. Said it looked abandoned and was bringing down property values. The installer, a guy named James in his 30s, walked the perimeter and noticed the veteran's hands shaking badly when he pointed out where he wanted the fence line. James asked if he was okay, and the man said he had PTSD from 2 tours in Afghanistan. Couldn't sleep most nights, so he went outside and dug holes because the repetitive motion calmed his mind. He'd filled them back in by morning, but lately he'd been forgetting which ones he'd already filled. James gave him the estimate for $6,000, and the veteran said he'd been saving for 2 years and had $4,800. Asked if James could work with that number. James told him the fence would cost exactly $4,800 and started work the next week. He actually absorbed $1,800 himself by using materials from another job that got canceled and working weekends without charging labor. The fence went up in 5 days and looked professional, 8 feet tall solid wood with no gaps. The veteran paid the $4,800 and seemed relieved to have privacy again. But 3 weeks later, James drove past the house and saw the veteran outside at 2 a.m. digging holes inside the fenced yard. Realized the fence had given him privacy, but hadn't solved the actual problem. James called a buddy who ran a veterans crisis center and explained the situation without using names. His buddy said the digging was a common trauma response and gave James a number for a free counseling program specifically for combat vets. James wrote the number on a business card, drove back to the house the next day, and handed it to the veteran along with a packet of grass seed. He told the man that he'd built a lot of fences, but this was the first time he realized a fence couldn't keep out what sets already inside. The veteran stared at the card for a long time, then asked if the counseling actually worked. James said he didn't know, but his buddy had been going for 3 years and didn't dig holes anymore. 6 months later, James got a text from the veteran with a photo of the yard, completely covered in grass with a small garden in the corner. The message said he'd been going to counseling twice a week and hadn't dug a hole in 4 months. Thanked James for building the fence that gave him space to heal instead of hide. James keeps that photo on his phone because he learned that construction isn't always about building walls. Sometimes it's about creating the container someone needs to finally stop running from themselves. Comment fence if healing needs privacy and help.